Hey smart people, it's Toby Salami once again, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can auto-update your form fields with live data from the back end. See how it works. Let's refresh this and see what happens here. You have the hotels fetched from the hotel's CPT in the back end. You have here a list of hotel locations which is fetched from this taxonomy right here. As you can see, when I change the hotels to a different hotel, you have the hotel locations for that particular CPT fetched. Let's change it again to lever removers and you can see that one fetched here. This is not a conditional logic thing going on in the form. This is actual live data. And if you update the data in the back end, it's going to update right here. All of this is going to happen without refreshing the page and without touching a single line of code. If you are interested in this smart people stuff and you want to make your life a little easier as a WordPress developer, you want to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell right now. Let's take a look at the plugins we're going to make use of. I have Elementor installed, and this is because this is just my page builder of choice. You can of course use Bricks Builder or use Gutenberg to achieve the exact same thing. The page builder you're using here really doesn't matter. Once you have Elementor installed or whatever page builder you choose to install, you need to install JetEngine. And JetEngine here is the plugin inside of which we have Query Builder, and of course we're going to be using here. And JetFormBuilder here is the form builder we're going to use to auto-update and live populate fields in the front end without doing any page reload. This plugin is the add-on for JetFormBuilder that helps you do just that. And you get this plugin by coming to GitHub. I'm going to include this URL in the description for you, but this URL is where you come to. And when you come down here, you want to click on this green button here and click on Download Zip. Once you download the zip file, that's the plugin you've downloaded. So you're just going to come back to plugins, click on add new plugin and come to upload plugin. This is where you choose the file and upload the plugin you just downloaded. The last two plugins you have here are just installed here and have no particular bearing on this video. So just keep that in mind and let's dive right into the setup. I have created a hotel's CPT, which you see here. If we come inside that hotel's CPT, you see I have created 3 posts just as an example for us. Inside of those posts is a meta field which I had created. If you come inside post types, which you get to by coming to JetEngine and clicking on post types, I had created this post type, this hotel's post type of course, and I had come down here to meta fields and created a new meta field called about hotel. A simple meta field which you can create and add as many as you want. I want to demonstrate how you can output a meta field because it's not that simple, but I'm going to make it simple for you. So shall we? The first thing you want to do is come to the dashboard and come to Query Builder. This first step is key. What you want to output here is just a simple list of hotels. That's it. So let's query hotels. We're going to add a new query and call this query of hotels on the site. Oh my God, I can't spell site. And we come here to query type and select post query as is. We're going to scroll down and on the post type, we're just going to select hotels. Once we have that selected, we want to select the post status as published and we're pretty much done with our query here. Let's click on add query. Now we want to create a form and we want to create a select field that's going to be based on this particular query such that that select field outputs a list of the titles and post IDs of this query. To do that, let's come to forms. You can access forms by clicking on Form Builder, and on the Form Builder, you have forms here in the WordPress dashboard, and you want to click on Add New. When you add a new form, the first thing you want to do is, of course, give it a name. So let's call this Live Update Form. Now, we want to just start from scratch. We don't want to use any form pattern that's been previously created. Let's just start from scratch. Let's do away with the post ID form field here. Let's also do away with this field right here. And we can just leave the submit button for now and add a new field. Let's click on this plus button at the top. The field we want to add is a select field. So we're just going to type select. We're dragging that in, and inside of the select field, we want to give it a label. The label would be hotels. Good. Now you have different options for how you want to get all of the hotels on the site. And the option you're going to want to make use of is this option here on the field options from, where you have manual input. You want to click on that and select generate dynamically. You can come under the generate function and select get values lists from JetEngine query. That is what we need here. Now you're thinking, what exactly is going to be the field name? I'm going to tell you how to set it up here. So Follow me and keep this exact process in mind. This is the syntax. First, you're going to want to type the ID of the query that you just created. The ID, of course, if we come to the query builder query here, is the ID you see in the URL here. You can see here, ID equals 58. Exactly. So we just want to grab 58. Come back inside the form and paste that ID. Now, once you have the ID of the query builder query inside of there, the next thing you want to do is to separate this with a pipe character. Let's just add a pipe character. And the next thing we want to add is the value that's going to be sent to the database. What's that value going to be? Let's look here inside of the query builder to find out. If we toggle on preview results, you can see here that you can grab any key from the list of post objects received here. You see this first one is post ID 543. If you come down, you have another post object, which is 539 and so on. Now, what do we want to grab? We want to grab the data sent to the database. Usually, that's going to be the ID. So we're just going to grab ID. Come back inside form and just paste ID. Next, we want to add another pipe character, and this time we want to show something to the user, and that will of course be the post title. So let's come back inside the query builder and see how post title is rendered. Let's scroll down and you can see post title inside of here. So let's just grab that and come back inside the form and paste it inside of here. Let's see it work. Once we save the form, we want to come inside the edit page and just grab the JetForm widget and drag it inside of here. Once we have the JetForm widget inside of there, we want to choose the form we just created, which is the live update form. Let's click on publish. And as you can see, it's already pulling in the list of hotels inside of here. And that's good. Let's come to the front end and see if it's actually working. Want to refresh and we can see the form fields, all of the 3 posts inside of the hotel's CPT. And that is great. Next, we want to add a new form field. And let's just click on add. Now inside of here, let's select text area. The text area field is a field that you can use to, of course, add a text in an area. I don't know if that makes sense, but forget about what I just said and let's just move on. We have a text area field inside of here. We want to grab the meta field from the hotel's CPT. So let's just say hotel description is the name we want to call this. We can see the field key name is updated here, and that is excellent. The next thing we want to do is just save the field and come to the front end and refresh. What we have now is hotels and hotel description. Excellent. But we want the possibility to select any of these hotels and have the hotel description automatically fetched from the database. To do that, let's come back inside the dashboard and see how it's set up here. Remember that inside of the hotel CPT is a meta field called About Hotel, and it has data populated inside of it. We know it's stored with the key About Hotel, and that is good. Now we can create a query to fetch just that. Let's come to Query Builder and try to add a new query here. Let's say that this query is going to fetch the content or the description of the hotel. So we're just going to say fetch description of hotel. Now, if we leave this as a post query just to check it out, and we come to post type and select hotels, we can come to post status and select publish, and that's great. Now, if we come here to preview results, we can toggle it on, and now we want to look inside of here and see if we find that meta key called About Hotel. Let's look together, shall we? There is nothing like that. So how exactly do we fetch the meta field? Keep in mind that when you create a post query such as this, what is really happening behind the scenes in WordPress is that it's looking in the WP posts table and trying to find all of the posts that you specify inside the query. But we need the post meta because this is the post meta field and not just something that's part of the main posts. Don't get confused, just stay with me. I'm going to explain it to you. It's quite simple. If I'm making it complicated, I'm sorry. Let's do this. If we come back inside the query builder here, we can select inside of here SQL query. Don't get scared, it's going to be easy. We're going to toggle off preview results and come down here and select from the table posts. So let's just select the post table here. Yes, there it is. we selected there. Now we have the post table selected, and if we toggle on preview results, we can see that the preview results shows a result count of 479 posts. Now take note that if you look inside of here, you see almost exactly the same thing we saw when we selected the post query type, right? Good. It means we're getting somewhere, but we still need something from the post meta table. To get that, let's come down here to use join, as you can see here, and toggle that on. Now I want to select join tables. When you select join tables, you want to select the join type inner join. On the join table, the table you want to get is the post meta table, and that, remember, is where the meta field is stored. So we want to come down here and select post meta. Once we have that selected, you want to come to when current table column and just select post ID, because that is the exact same as the following column in the post table. We want to select ID here. So post ID is equal to ID. What it means is that in the post meta, there is a column that is called ID, as you can see here. That stores the ID of the posts. If you take a look at each of these posts, for example, the JW post here, you see that post equals 543. That is an ID. In fact, let's just copy that for a moment. That's the ID of the JW post. If you come back inside of Query Builder here, so you see that there is a unique ID for each entry. But we still need to drill this down some more, because what we have here as the total is 3,073 posts. So we want to come to where and select add new. What do we want to select here? We want to select the column, which is posts ID, as you can see there. And let's say the post ID is equal to the value we copied, which is 543. And now you see 3 items here. And that post is only created once, which you can see here. Why do we have 3 items inside here with the same ID shown here? It's because of the fact that you have 3 meta fields associated with these particular posts. And you can see it here in meta key stored here. So one meta key here called edit lock has the value this. If you come down to the next object, you see another meta key called edit last, and the meta value is right here. If you come to the third one, you see, hold on, there it is. There it is. Meta key about hotel. That is what we're looking for. Good. Now I want to drill this down because we need just 1 item here and not 3. So let's add an additional query clause. The additional query clause is going to say that this is going to be the post meta key of what? We want to grab that meta key, come back inside Query Builder, come to compare, and say it's equal to about hotel. And now we have just 1 result. Great. Because now inside of here, what you have is simply the posts, but this time with the post meta field, which has the meta key about hotel. Excellent. Now let's click on add query and see our query created beautifully for us. Once the query is created, you see inside the URL here that you have the query ID equals to 59. Let's copy that number because we're going to need it soon. Once we have that copied, we can come back inside forms here, and to populate this field value, we want to do 2 things. 1, let's click on that field and come inside here in the block item here and scroll all the way down until you find field updater. You want to toggle on enable field updater. So it's going to live update this field with the value from this hotels field. So let's just toggle that on, enable value updater. Now we want to scroll down a bit. Here you see update on action button. You don't want to do that. You want to update this field when the previous field, which is the hotels field here, is selected. So let's leave that toggled off. Now we want to listen to what field? The hotels field, of course. So let's come back to hotels and just select hotels and copy that, which is the field key here. Come back again inside of the hotel description field here and scroll down and come back to field updater and select that and add the field to listen. Now it's listening to hotels. Great. Now let's come down here to call back all query parameters. Now keep in mind that here you want to do something just a little similar to what we did previously, and that is this. You want to come here and add the ID of the query you just created. The query you just created, for which you want to fetch the description of the hotel, As you can see, the ID here is 59. So let's just grab that ID and come back inside of forms here and paste that ID inside of there. Without adding a space, you want to add a pipe character again. Now, after adding that pipe character, what you want to add next is the key that you want to fetch. What's that key? Let's come back again into Query Builder and take a look at what is returned here. You see here that you have meta value. This is the key because that is what we want to return here. So we'll come back inside form and paste that inside here. Good. But there is one last thing to do. Recall that when we were trying to see what's inside of here, inside of the preview results here, we had to manually add the post ID 543. We added that when we selected here inside where and just typed in 543. Does that mean that we'll need to create multiple queries just to output all of the items here inside of the hotels lists? No. We have a macro that we can make use of. So let's come back inside Query Builder and let's remove 543. Now we have this returning 0 as we would expect. You want to come back to value. And here, when you click on this dynamic field icon, you want to select here JFB. You want to type JFB. As you can see, this macro here is supposed to check for the form field value that you want to return inside of here. So let's click on that and want to add the field name. What is that field name going to be? If we come back inside forms, we added what is going to be the value, which is what's going to be returned when the person selects any item inside of this list. And we have what's going to show to the user. But remember that if anything is a value inside the form, that is the thing that's going to be interacting with the database. So we're ready to just select the key here, which is hotels, and then come inside of Query Builder and paste that form field name inside of there. So this is basically not going to do anything unless it retrieves from whatever the user selects inside of the post ID, the value selected in the form. And that value, remember what the value is? The value is the ID. So it's good. The ID is going to return inside of this field here as the ID. Next, we want to click on Update Query. And let's come to the front end and see it work. Let's refresh and we can see that now that JW is selected here, you have the hotel description fetched in right here. Let's scroll down just a little bit and take a look at selecting another hotel, Starlight. And it fetches it dynamically. We want to select the third one, which is lever removers. I have no idea why I called it that name, but when you select it, you see that the hotel description is fetched right in. All of this is done without doing any full page reload. It just works. Now, you may be wondering, does it have to be an SQL query for it to work? An SQL query can sometimes get complicated. Even though it gives me all of these powers, it sometimes can get complicated. And that's right, it sometimes gets very complicated. I mean, it's sometimes the only option. But you can still do it without writing an SQL query if you don't have to write an SQL query. For example, let's say that what you want to return inside this hotel description is not the hotel description, but maybe the term associated with the hotel. So let's say we come back to the dashboard and we're just going to select a few hotels. So let's select a hotel and just do a quick edit and select the locations. We can see locations are selected here. We have Africa for this one. We have here, we have another location selected, a different one, Asia, and inside of the lever removers, you have a different location selected there. So it means we can pretty much fetch that term back because inside of Query Builder, if we add a new query, let's come back to Query Builder and add a new one, you can see that it is very, very easy to just fetch a term query. We can just come here and select terms query. So let's say fetch term of current post or current hotel. Let's call it current hotel. And we want to come down here to taxonomy and select locations, which is the taxonomy we want to fetch. Now we want to select the term to return, and the term to return would usually be the term associated with a post ID that's selected by the user. And remember that if a user selects, let's say, hotels, the value that's actually being selected here when he selects one of these hotels is actually an ID in the back end. So we can grab that ID, and we can grab that by simply coming here to the post IDs option here and selecting again JFB, and we want to grab that field. The field we want to grab, of course, if we come inside the form, we can see that field is hotels. We want to grab that, come back inside Query Builder, paste it inside there, click on Update, and you're pretty much good to go. But first, let's take a look at preview results and see what is going to be returned when this query is run. We see a number of things returned inside of the term query. For each term object, you see you have term ID, name, slug, and so on. All of these nice things. But we want to grab just the term ID and the term name, because that's what we're going to use to populate items in the form. If we come to the form here, let's just take off hotel description. We don't want that anymore. We want to add a field here, and it's going to be a radio field. We're going to drag that radio field inside of here because we want to show the hotel locations. So let's just type hotel locations. Good. Now it updates here as the field key, and that is great. It doesn't matter to us. Let's go now to the side here and select field updater. Let's scroll down, and as you can see under enable field updaters, when you select that, you can select the field to listen to. We want to listen to hotels, so we're going to grab hotels, and we're going to paste that inside for the hotel locations here on the field updater. We want to select hotels. Good. Now that that's selected, you don't see any option here to actually specify the query that it's going to listen to, right? Just like the text area field from before. Where you select that is the same place you select field options from. So you want to come here and select dynamically generate or generate dynamically. And here under generator function, you want to select get values list from JetEngine query. Now, as you did before, you want to get the following. First, you want to get the query builder ID. Once we toggle this off and add this query, we have a new query here. We have the ID here now populated as 60. So let's just copy that ID here, bring it back inside the form and paste it inside of there. The form value would usually be an ID. So we'll come inside of Query Builder, toggle back on preview results, and we see inside here term ID as an ID. So we're going to grab that and paste it inside here after separating it with the pipe character. So we're just going to add term ID, separate it with another pipe character, and want to show what's going to be shown to the user after the first option is being selected. So what's going to be shown to the user, of course, would be the name. Let's just grab that, come back inside the form and paste it inside of there. We're good to go, right? We can click on save. Let's come to the front end and see how it looks. And we can see the hotel location here as Africa. If we select Starlight, we see hotel location, Asia. We select lever removers, we see the location as South America. Now, as you can see, you can pretty much select any post on your site and return any data associated with that post. Some people may ask, isn't the hierarchical select filter, which you find when you come inside your JetFormBuilder account, here, you can scroll down and see the hierarchical select filter here. And some people say, isn't the hierarchical select filter supposed to do that for you? Well, it cannot do this much. Now you understand that the limit of what you can do here is really your imagination. I want you to tell me in the comment section below how you think you can make use of this. If you have any questions whatsoever that you think I can give an answer to, please feel free to ask. And if I can, I'll give you an answer. You really want to subscribe to this channel because on this channel, I cover topics that can help you as a dynamic WordPress developer and make your life a lot easier. As always, my name is Toby Salami, and until next time, stay dynamic.